Yo, what is good, Giraffe Gang? It's your boy Jarrell Giraffe. Remember the name because we play video games and we do the damn thing. Today, I'm gonna be talking more about conversational wise about a book that I read and I feel like has a lot of insightful things that people can use, more in particular about your mindset and how that is pretty much the basis and foundation of things that you do in your life because your thoughts create your reality. I'm not sure how to really go about these kind of videos. This is my first time doing this thing, so we're just gonna have to figure it out and see what sticks and what lands and what doesn't land. So bear with me if I do start to stutter and I don't really have a particular flow with this, but I'm trying my best and that's all that matters. And I'm not going to be perfect because nobody's perfect right off the bat. And that's exactly what we're going to be talking about with this book. There's a book about mindsets. New Psychology of Success, written by Carol S. Dweck. Phenomenal book. I love this book a lot. It was definitely like an 8 out of 10 for me. In scales of like self-help books, I've been reading a lot about those ever since I kind of picked up reading again. That's what I've started off with from the get-go, because I was like, why not read for knowledge? Because reading for entertainment back then, I did not like at all, because I wasn't really interested in what I was reading in for school and all that. I kind of just said hi to Quizlet, and the rest is history. Since going on my reading journey, self-help books have definitely got me into making a lot more conscious decisions with who I want to become and how that translates into my actions throughout my life, and how I also will want to help influence others to go the same path, or maybe not the same path, but at least a path towards where they know about these things and they can use them or use whatever resonates with them how they see fit within their own lives. Not me forcing it upon y'all. If y'all take something out here, then that's enough for me. If y'all don't, then hey, it is what it is. So, particularly about this book, Carol talks about, or do I do this like as Dweck or Carol? I'm gonna go with Dweck. I think that's how you're supposed to do it. Newbie. So with Dweck, she starts to explain a lot about two different mindsets that we will get into. The first one is the fixed mindset. Now, with the fixed mindset, it's things like factors and properties of yourselves, your skills, and all that are at a fixed point. Essentially, they're like straight from birth. Like this is your fixed kind of capacity for doing this thing, and that's it. You can't grow from it. You can't do anything better from it because that is who you are now, and that won't change. That's what the fixed mindset basically tells, and that's what Dweck constantly, brings about in this book in many different scenarios and different, even like parenting, business, and school and relationships. Yes, that is in the front of the book, but she deadass talks about that in a lot of and also just like different aspects of life as well. Now that's just the first mindset. Now the second mindset is the growth mindset, which you can tell is like, of course it's going to be built upon growth, and things aren't at a fixed point. Things can be achieved and improved upon through the bottom all the way to the top, or even a plateau, if you will. If you wanted to reach a plateau and just stop there and you're comfortable with it, by all means, you can do that. But you can also just continually improve and become the person that you want to be. With the growth mindset comes with an affinity for learning, and to not just take things as this is it for me, and more so, okay, I got this in the beginning of it. Now, how do I improve from this? How do I analyze myself from within and through my actions that I just did? And what ways can I learn to be better in that aspect or skill or whatever it is that you're trying to improve on? It can literally translate to a lot of things, not just, the 4 things that are in the front of this book, but pretty much life itself. Dweck also goes on to explain a couple of examples of people within the fixed mindset category and the growth mindset category. Fixed mindset people, you would see, of course, there are successful people with this fixed mindset, but in all aspects of their mindset comes with the results that they bring to their environment and other people in their lives. In the book, Dweck uses John McEnroe, an iconic tennis player, as an example for the fixed mindset and its properties to showcase what exactly a fixed mindset person acts like and the excuses they kind of come up with for their confidence and their wins and losses. For McEnroe, he uses a lot of excuses. He used an excuse for sawdust, um, and his confidence is very shaky because of the results that are happening with his game. If he loses, then he loses confidence and he feels like he's a loser, and he feels like he can't really bounce back from that, and uses excuses as a way to protect his confidence. So basically, in a fixed mindset, people have this confidence around them, but it's very shaky and easily swayed by different results, whether it's winning or losing. With winning, it's like an ego boost to them. With losing, ego is shattered, and they have excuses and things that they come up with inside their own mind in order to make themselves feel better about the loss, rather than really analyzing what it is that made them lose in the first place and learning from those mistakes. As for the other side, in terms of competitiveness and sports and the like, we have Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan, the legend basketball player. You feel me? So Michael Jordan did not start off being Michael Jordan, if that makes sense. You get what I mean? Like no one was like, oh, Michael Jordan, you're the man for sure. Like there's no other like competition right off the bat from when he started off, basketball. I heard he'd even like get into what was it, like college teams or whatnot before he even went into the NBA. So Michael Jordan wasn't recognized as the Michael Jordan from the get-go, is what I'm trying to say. He worked to get to where he was, or where he is, to reach that kind of status in the game. And it's not, you can hear that from like different basketball players too, not just Michael Jordan, but LeBron, Kobe especially, Mamba mentality, RIP. You can hear it with so many other legends out here, not in just sports, but in the artist like music game and different esports, different people that are content creators, especially content creation. A lot of people did not start off with 100k subscribers. Kai Cenat didn't start off with that. Jinxie didn't start off with that. And a whole multitude of people that have started off from YouTube from the ground up did not start off just having a set foundation of people to just kind of build from. They created that foundation, of course, but you know how long it took them to get there, or what efforts they had to do to get that to that place. People back in YouTube were still struggling, in their personal lives, and still making these videos to crack out in hopes of one day becoming that content creator that gets lucky, that goes viral on YouTube, and then they make money off of everything now. They make money off sponsorships, ads, ad revenue, and like other things that they have going on for social media purposes and all that. So it's crazy to see how people ignore the kind of effort and work that's gonna be done behind the scenes or before they blow up, and then when they blow up they only recognize the kind of things that they blew up for, and like not really recognizing how hard they worked to get there in the first place, and even how long it took. So let's bring it back. Fixed mindset, fixed point, can't grow, makes excuses, and its confidence is easily swayed, and it's either the ego boost or the ego downpour. Now with the growth mindset, things aren't at a fixed point. Things can be improved right when we start. I'm trying to improve for talking through this video right now, because I don't want to have many cuts and stutters and everything like that. And this is something new for me, and I'm taking it in a way where I will have a result, of course, but that result will still help me in either way I see fit. I will still learn from it, because I know that starting off from this kind of point, just straight from the dome, is not going to be perfect. And I don't expect it to be perfect at all. I expect myself to try my best, and that's what makes the difference between growth mindset and fixed mindset. Fixed mindset focuses so much on the results of things, and it's, I keep saying this again, but they're so what's the word? They're so focused and what's the word? They're easily influenced by the results and so focused on it that it becomes a weakness and a detriment to the thing that they want to do. Whereas with the growth mindset, the only thing that matters to me is, did I do my best? Did I actually dive into this full on and just did my best and tried my best? And if I did, then that's a great for me. I did 100% on that. No one can take that away from me. No one can take away from me that I did this 100% wholeheartedly with my face staring right at what I'm doing. No one can take that away from me. Whether it's a win or a loss, I still did my thing. And of course, if it's a loss or if it's a lesson in anything, it's not really a loss. It's a lesson because you learn from your L's. You feel me? But whether or not it's I guess a lose or win, helpful or unhelpful, how do I figure out what I need to do better from this result that I wasn't really going for? But at the end of the day, it's still a result to learn from. So that's how the mindset differs, and that's kind of my whole thought process behind those two mindsets, and from what I've learned. And another thing too with these different mindsets, the growth mindset isn't something where it's just a switch in the brain and now everything's just growth and improvement. You really have to dial down to even like your daily habits and see how exactly this feeds into the person that you want to become, or it deters you to a different path that you think is not really as helpful if you wanted to, continue down that path and all those daily habits that draw you along for that. And I feel like with the growth mindset and the fixed mindset, it's sort of like a daily practice. It's a whole consistency thing in both ways. You're consistently thinking this way, consistently doing those daily habits, and then making the change to that growth mindset is in another way. You have to stay consistent with that as well. And it's so out of place in your norm that it feels uncomfortable, which is supposed to be. You embrace the uncomfortable. You embrace the uncomfortability. I guess I'll say it like that. You embrace the uncomfortability to grow. You're growing outside your outer circle, or you're growing outside your I'm fumbling the words right now. It's okay though. We make mistakes and I correct them. You're growing outside your comfort zone. That's what I meant to say. And that's where the real W's take place. Safe to say. Will it come with risk? Of course. There's always going to be risk with it. But that's what makes it much more meaningful. And that's what makes it so much of a change and growth in your life. Now, I have hella sticky notes in here. I have hella sticky notes, well, sticky tabs. They're not really notes, but just to keep track of things that resonate with me and were like, damn, this hit kind of moments. So, and I wrote them down on here so I don't have to flip through every pages. But I think I have some key ones here. One word or one quote that Dweck writes, and I quote from the book: "Even when you think you're not good at something, you can still plunge into it wholeheartedly and stick to it. Plunge into something because you're not good at it." With that quotation in mind and how that resonated with me was that kind of shedding away that fixed mindset idea of I need to be good on the first try. If I'm good at the first try, then that means I found something I'm good at. I need to be like fast or efficient in any other way the first time, so that way I don't have to deal with it and I can for real be good at something and tell people that I'm good at something, shows people that I'm good at something. It's that confidence, it's that ego boost that really gets the fixed mindset going. And seeing how you got it down the first try really does be like, oh yeah, I got that. I'm good at what the hell I'm doing. I know what I'm doing. It's that assurance. It's that assurance too. I'm good. I know what I'm doing. Yeah. So to see that, even though I'm not good at something, to dive right into it and plunge into it wholeheartedly, as Dweck writes, is beautiful in my mind, because it just really shows that you don't really have to be good at something right from the get-go to be good at it, whether it be basketball, baseball, dancing. Hell, I wasn't good at dancing. Nah, deadass, because I wasn't good at dancing back in high school. I am now. I'm great. Not to say like I'm perfect, but I'm definitely great enough to be on stage, and I know that I should be on stage because I'm owning this shit. And I'm not just stopping there. I'm improving from it as well. But I did not start off dancing being, oh, I'm the shit. I was gumpy. I was stiff as a rock. Pause. But I really wasn't knowing what I was doing with my body whenever I was going through like choreo and learning choreography from different friends and teammates, and even going to classes when we had summer classes. I didn't know what I was doing, but inch by inch I could feel myself slipping away and really knowing what I could do with my body and how to move my limbs, my legs and individual parts. How do I do this step? How do I do that step? How do I make this move more swaggier, more my kind of style? How do I make this move bigger? How do I make this move sharper? There's a lot of different things that went into dancing for me that I had to learn and I had to improve with, and also I can't stop improving from it, because it's dancing in itself is just always elevating. There's always new styles to learn. There's always new styles to incorporate into your own kind of freestyling, choreography, you name it. There's a lot of things you can do with dancing that just never really stops. And to have the many different styles culminates into this one thing that we can all do with our bodies. It's easily, not easily, but I'm not gonna say everything is like easy, of course, but it does take work. And that in itself shouldn't be something to shy away from. It's going to be worth it to go through that work, because you'll make it worth it. It's not going to be worth it if you don't put in 100% effort, of course, because you just bullshit around. Sorry for my language, but you just bullshit around and you didn't put in that full effort. So what makes you think you can get the whole fruits if you didn't just go ahead and just chase after it, dive for it? Dive, not die, chill. But you get what I mean, though. There's some work that has to be done, and it can't just be done half-assed if you want the full results. Even when you're not good at it, do it wholeheartedly. Another thing I wrote was find success in learning and improving, and to not focus on wins or advantageous results. The word success does not necessarily mean to win something or to necessarily like achieve something. Ignore what I said about achieving, because that's what succeeding means. Success comes in many different ways and that you think of success. Success comes in the ways of how you have your goals aligned. So if you have a specific intention or a goal in mind and you fulfill that intention or goal, then that in itself is a success. Does a success have to be a win necessarily? That's not the goal always. There's success in learning. There's success in improving. There's success in failing. You fail your way to success. I forgot where that is quoted from. I'll probably put it on the text somewhere, but someone quoted that. Someone definitely said that, and that just stuck in my mind, because with success, you don't just get it right off the bat. You could do that, okay, of course, like the first time, or whatever time it is. But after a while, you start to, fail through like trial and error, and then next thing you know, you hit a fucking bullseye. You hit a bullseye on the dartboard, and you're like, damn, that hit. But you don't see how many times you tried to get that bullseye. Shit, you could have hit the wall, not even on the board. And then next thing you know, you start to aim a little more and kind of like figure out your your arm, your how like you're firing it with your arm, where you're pinpointing. Are you looking with your right eye or left eye? What are you doing? And then you adjust from there. Shit, if you're outside, wind conditions, if you're in archery, all that. So there's a lot to success in learning and improving. And I think people also get so discouraged when they put so much success on a win or a lose result, because the next thing you know, if they lose and if they set their goal and success point as, I need to win, let's say like this Tekken 8 match, I need to win this tournament match, and they don't win the first one, right? Then they start to get discouraged. They're like, damn, he's getting like he's too good, and like she's too good, like I can't beat this person off of like the first round. But if you take it round by round and Tekken 8, I'm using Tekken 8 as an example. If you take it round by round by Tekken 8 and you start to notice and kind of study your opponent's attack patterns and what they're doing and how you can either duck or block or react to this with a jab, cut off their combos, parry, whatever it is that you have to do to break their cycle of attacking. Because everyone has a pattern. Everyone has a pattern, no matter if it's like a fighting game or through sports or whatever else competitive wise. People have a pattern to themselves because that's what they've learned. That's what they got accustomed to in their training. So to learn and improve like the first round, and it's like, okay, bet I'm learning and improving, and I know what they're gonna do, and then you use that to execute, and that's what will get you the win. Not just mindlessly going through your cycle of things and being like, damn, I'm not winning because either you're blaming the character, which sometimes, I ain't gonna lie, nah, that's just excuses. But sometimes it is valid in video game kind of things. But often than not, it's not really the character. It really does come down to your playstyle and your kind of mind in the game. So if you just give up already after just one loss, then it's like, damn, I guess all that training you did is just thrown off the river because you decided to hinge it on this one particular factor in it, which was either the character or the fact that you just don't know how to deal with it, and you're not learning how to deal with it because you're too focused on excuses rather than focusing on what it is that you need to learn. So find success in learning, and don't put too much focus on succeeding in wins and losses. Another thing I loved about this book is that Dweck explains that true self-confidence is the courage to be open, to welcome change and new ideas regardless of their source, and have a readiness to grow. With self-confidence and how I was talking about how it's, people get swayed off of, people have their confidence swayed through results. I find it so much more fulfilling to embrace the change and embracing that you won't get it on the first try, but you'll probably get it on the 10th. You'll probably get the 5th, the 2nd, the 3rd. Who knows how many tries you'll have, but you won't know until you do it. And through that learning process and continuous learning cycles, you start to gain that self-confidence and trusting yourself that I won't know what it is that I will do and what kind of result I'll make, but I trust myself enough to at least try this new thing and not be afraid to fail. That's the key point in self-confidence. You're not afraid to fail, and you trust yourself that you'll be able to handle it no matter what the fuck happens. Am I making sense so far? I hope I am. I think sometimes I'll be rambling out here and it does click in my head and it does make sense, but after I say it, maybe I'm like, did that hit right? I hope so. But we shall see. So tying into relationships, because that in itself is a whole different thing. Not a different thing, but a whole new space of ideals and standards that people have, especially today in social media, kind of dating wise. People have a lot of different standards and things that they want for themselves. And people take a lot of things through social media straight to their heart because they feel like it's really generalized and should apply to them and everyone else. But and everything, and all in all, everyone has their own kind of relationships and standards that they have, and their own individuality. So I'm not really a firm believer in thinking that social media standards and everything should apply to everyone. I feel like everyone's relationship is different, and everyone in actual life is different. So people like what they like, people don't like what they like, or people don't like what they don't like. Does that make sense? Yes. So you get what I mean. But with this one, when it started getting to when Dwight was talking about relationships in this book, bro, it got real. Dwight, you got real with this one in the relationship kind of status. Cause I was like, damn, she's talking about all y'all on social media, especially like nowadays, because y'all think y'all don't have to work for shit on your relationship. Y'all don't think you gotta put in work in a relationship to make it better. It should be already perfect from the get-go because y'all love each other, right? Love is not enough for a relationship. I'm gonna say that again. Love is not enough for a relationship. What are y'all doing in this relationship? What exactly, like, are y'all adding to each other's peace? Are y'all influencing each other to help each other grow into the person that they want to become? And if not, then what the fuck happening? Why are y'all at each other's throats talking about like, oh, why the fuck were you out last night? I don't want you out last night. Why like I don't trust you outside. Like you, it's a whole different shit. I'm about to get into some tangents. I swear. But look, one thing I wrote here was that Dweck writes, and I quote, "One of the most destructive beliefs in a relationship is if we need to work at it, then there's something wrong in the relationship." With relationships, I feel like people really, or at least like I'm not sure about like what I see. Like this is just what I see in like kind of my whole space of things. Some people give up way too easily off of the first issue that arises. Depending on what the issue is. If the issue is like minuscule or not minuscule, but is something that can be talked through, then there's not really a particular reason to break up with that other person, unless you talk to them and you know they kind of went back on that, and you kind of needed to say them more than twice. Then it's like, okay, what the fuck is happening? Because the actions aren't aligning with what you said, and it's a whole storm out here. So with relationships, you want to not just give up on the first issue that arises, unless it's that much of a drastic issue, like not even like a break in your boundaries, because people don't know your boundaries unless you tell them to, or unless you tell them your boundaries, and they won't know if they break that boundary right from the get-go, because if they do, then they honestly did not know and you did not tell them. So you have to communicate that, and now that you told them, then you can check their actions and see if they break that again. Then it's like, okay, what the fuck is wrong with you? I told you about this and how that affected me. Why would you go and do it again? And then also works like vice versa and everything like that. So you want to talk things out with your partner in a relationship. You want to discuss these things. You want to, or well, I don't want to say you want to, because everyone has their own relationship. But ideally, in a relationship that is healthy, in my opinion, and in a lot of people's opinions, you want to communicate things through. Communication is key every time. People say that every time. Communication is key, and comprehension is also key. But the thing with words, I'm starting to notice a lot more now in my life. Words do help, but that is only half the battle, for real. What are your actions after you discuss these words? Are your actions going to be in alignment with what you just said and how you're going to change from that? Or are they going to be in a fixed mindset brain where you think, okay, I just talked about it, we said sorry, we apologize, everything's good now. And then you end up doing the same shit. And it's like, well, I could just say sorry again, or like there's like a different reason behind it. But all in all, you did the same exact thing. History repeated itself because you did not learn, and you did not think of a plan or a collaboration in action to help make sure that this doesn't happen again, or is very unlikely to happen again. And I'm not saying people like your relationship can't be perfect off bat. People are themselves before a relationship. You don't know what their tendencies are, especially in the honeymoon phase. People are all lovey-dovey, but when they get into either living with each other or more of like a difference in space, and they're dealing with other things in their personal lives, and y'all are dealing with other things in your personal life, and then some things can be clashing, some things can be like, I don't have enough time, and there's too much things going on, I'm busy. All these things can happen in life, and it's not really a healthy relationship to draw back on a relationship because of an issue that just particularly happened and y'all didn't learn from it and y'all didn't talk about it. So talk about these issues with your significant other. And yes, it's gonna be uncomfortable. That's the point. And be honest. Don't be dishonest about your stuff, bro. Don't be dishonest about it. Just say it for what it is and help the other person make the decision. Because more than likely than not, you withholding this information, they don't know what to do. While you're over here just sitting around doing nothing, twiddling your thumbs and wondering how to exactly tell this person what it is that you need to say, you already know what to say. You've gone over it in your head multiple times. And if you're thinking, oh well, they'll leave, or they'll do something drastic, or not drastic, but like they'll leave you. That's tough. That's tough. You gotta be able to really just be honest with people and give them their choice in their own life. Otherwise, you're just keeping them captive on a leash because you're too afraid, or you just want to keep something for yourself, and that's selfish. That's selfish. I'm not saying being selfish is bad, but selfish in that way where you're keeping someone stringed along because you don't know what the fuck to say and you're so afraid to say it. That's just not a good. That's not a helpful kind of selfish. If that makes sense. I'm going on tangents here off of these points. Another thing about relationships with here was that Dweck says you have to believe in the potential to change, and do not confuse that with they will change. Now, going back on how we discuss things and discussing an idea or collaboration to like a plan of action to help mitigate that this issue doesn't happen again, you have to really see a person through their eyes and not just force them to change. Like, no, you will do this. This has got to happen. Like an ultimatum kind of thing. I don't think that's really helpful in any kind of situation. And you want to just not force them to really be like, you gotta change, you gotta do this. If they want to, I don't want to say that word. I don't want to say that sentence. But it's true though. People that have to change, or they have to want to change. You can't force change on someone. They really have to see it for themselves and be like, okay, I'm opening myself up to this. And if they're forced along to like change in that kind of way where it's like almost pestering them, then it's like a reluctancy, or like just like an unwillingness to really change and be open about it and feel good about that change in the first place. Because now you're talking to them like you're like a boss, or you're like someone that has more power over them. No one really likes that. No one likes being talked to like they're insignificant or just minuscule, unless they have that kind of I'm not gonna say that unless they have that kind of cake with them. But but you know what I mean. Like most people don't like being talked down upon, especially in a relationship sense, because you all are a team. Y'all shouldn't be out here arguing over each other's mouths, like toppling over it, punch each other, yelling at each other. It should be calm, a focused but straightforward communicative process to where y'all both understand each other and reach an understanding of each other, and you both come up with a plan to help deal with these things with action and not just words. And if what you and if like you don't feel like working through it, or if there's like not really a willingness to change for yourself or improve from that because you feel like it's not you, then honestly I don't know what to say, because like there's a lot of things that happen that change with you over the years, whether you like go through experiences or you don't go through experiences. You kind of learn things from your environments, and then from the environment reflects your mindset. So what is it exactly that is yourself, and why would this change not be yourself just because it's out of your comfort zone? If you end up really going out of your comfort zone and you figure out that's not you, then by all means, at least you tried. But make sure to still make that be known to the person. Be like, okay, I don't know, like this is really not me. I'm not comfortable with this kind of change, and I don't want to do this. Then they'll make the decision from there. And if y'all stick with it, cool. If y'all don't, then it is what it is. Okay, going off of the relationship kind of sense, because I'd be going on tangents about that. We're going back to teaching parenting kind of business with this particular sticky note that I have. Dweck writes that you want to avoid praises on intelligence or talent. The thing is, with intelligence and talent and praises on those, especially as a child, because I this is like another part of the book that really spoke to me, because I wasn't really knowing how those kind of praises and all that has effect on children and people in general. With praises and really having people get into that mindset of I can put in effort and learn, rather than I have to focus on being the fastest or clearing something in the first try. Having those kind of two things is so different, and people with those different mindsets tend to grow within those kind of paths. Because if they didn't get, let's say they didn't finish the fucking math test, or not math test, the timetable, let's say they didn't finish that the fastest, then they think that they're like, not we all went, well, not all, but most of us went through that in America, going through times table and being like the fastest in class and be like, oh yeah, I smoked all y'all, and I got a like licorice or candy or whatever was the prize after then. So, and then some kids would be discouraged and think that they're dumb because they didn't finish it the fastest. But little Jimmy over here, slow as hell, but still got all the answers right. We can still praise him for that. He got all the answers right. He still knows what's happening. He still knows the lessons that are being taught to him, and that's the most important thing. They're learning from these lessons and they're inputting it into maybe their lives or whatever else it is. And even then, praising a child or people for getting things done the first time, or like completely done, the first time, like, oh wow, like you did so well. Dweck writes about how that kind of praise would translate into a child's mindset of, damn, they only praise me whenever I get stuff done right the first time. I better keep that up, or else they're not gonna love me, or else they're not gonna think I'm the bright child that they think I am. They have to keep up with this kind of facade, albeit like it seems so harmless as from like a parent's perspective to praise your child for doing good and doing something great on the first try. But hearing Dweck say how that kind of translates into future things in life, especially with like the Filipino Asian community, how parents are so focused on academics and getting into nursing, getting a great job, getting into college and all that. There's so much stress built up upon being perfect in academics to make sure that your parents are still proud of you, or else they just don't show love, or they show disappointment and they make fun of you or insult you. All this kind of things that happen within that community, which is very unhealthy for a child's growth and development. Emotionally, they can't connect with their parents because they're so focused on, if I don't get this project turned in, if I don't do well in school and don't get into a good college, then they think I'm trash. They think I wasted my life or some shit, and that sucks. But that's not exactly. But like that's how it goes most times. So avoid praises on intelligence and talent, especially because there's that one quote where hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. And that is true to a T. That is hella true to a T. In many other factors, in many different circumstances. Black Clover, one of my favorite, my top animes of all time. Black Clover. Asta didn't get that strong without working hard. And you see that with not just Asta, but with the whole Black Bulls crew and all the other different Magic Knights squads that happen, or that are in the anime. They don't get strong just because they were gifted. All the royals didn't get up to, like maybe like the latest season or like the season before that. They didn't get to that kind of strength by just sitting around being royals and doing all that. Mereoleona, another one of my favorite characters in the anime, brings them out all to train for like their mana zone training and all that. And you can see that growth that they come with through their own kind of styles and their magic as well. How Yami, uses his mana zone to do the black hole, or does the dimension slash, all that. How they come up with different moves and all these like different things with their grimoires that they most likely wouldn't have had just sitting around being royals and sipping on tea and shit. They got stronger because they actually went to the training for it. And not just the royals, of course. I'm talking about all the Magic Knights, as a whole. Black Clover is a great example of that for my taste. But you can see it definitely in like different animes through training arcs, especially in Demon Slayer. Even though Tanjiro and them just be breathing and like making new ways to breathe for themselves. But with this Hashira training arc, I think they would definitely show a lot more with the Hashiras. So I'm excited to see that. Dweck says to praise hard work and effort instead. That means to praise how much work and effort it took to get this. Like, oh, you must have like came up with like a plan, or you definitely worked hard to solidify your foundation. And what am I talking about? You must have worked hard. Like, you must have worked hard to really get this kind of result. I'm glad you went with this plan and stuck to it and really learned from mistakes and all that. And really hammer it down to praise their practices and how they studied, what they kind of repeated, their persistence, and their good strategies that they came up with in order to achieve that result. Because a lot of times we just see the result, we're like, damn, that was a great job you did out there. But little do we really recognize the kind of blood, sweat, and tears that they put into getting that result in the first place. How much they practiced, how much they studied, all that persistence, all the hard works behind the scenes. Kobe Bryant be praised, like, praised for his mentality and everything. But who knows how many hours he put into the gym, into training. Because we know that man put a lot of hours full of 100% effort in the training process for him every time. And that's what's gonna help flourish that growth within a person. To see that I don't have to be perfect right off the bat in order to feel good about all the work that I did. And that would help them realize that easily or easier than recognizing their talents and their intelligence. And even if someone does something really easily, it's not to really just praise them for doing it easily. Still, Dweck talks about how there's like a specific example. If you like give a kid an easy homework assignment or a study assignment, and they passed it with flying colors, they're more so like, oh, that must have been too easy for you. Okay, we'll find something harder for you to do, because you're not growing, you're not learning, you're not improving from anything, because you have that kind of mentality of, I'm perfect and I don't need to work on anything. Yes, you do. There's still work to be done. Job's not finished. Job's not finished, bro. And on the opposite side of, if someone does fail, you can still praise their hard work and the effort that it took for them to get that far. But if they were really honed in on winning and they don't take that, oh, I don't care if didn't work hard, like I still didn't win. Well, if that's the case, then you must have not worked hard enough because someone outshone you. Figure it out how exactly you need to work harder more. And not to say that like in a like downplaying way, just to be real with them, just be honest, be like, well, you worked hard, of course, but there's still more work to do for you. And by all means, I know if you put in 100% effort in learning what you can do better, then that crown is yours. That trophy is yours for sure. The last thing I will leave y'all with is that new changes take their place alongside your old system. The new changes become stronger. So if you're in the process of switching from this fixed mindset to having a more growth mindset and sort of creating these new ways of thinking inside your head, and to think that, okay, these are like some things I can use on my tool belt, these are some things I can just put in instead, and everything's good. Remember what I said about these consistencies and maintenance about these mindsets. That's true for switching the mindsets from the fixed to the growth, because it's not only that you have your old system, like I said, or like Dweck says, you not only have your old system, but you also have the new changes that you want to input into that old system, and you want to not think of them as things that you just input and everything's good. You have to really like replace them and switch them out. It takes a lot of work though. It takes a lot of just really taking your time with your thoughts and analyzing them and catching those moments where you're in that fixed mindset where you think you're not good enough, and then replacing that right then and there with the growth mindset of how, okay, what can I do now? What can I do to make it better? What can I do to learn from this? And how do I control this in a way where it's beneficial for me and not just gonna bring me down and bring me off my A game, if that makes sense. So just keep doing that consistently, and then those new changes would become more prevalent in your mind rather than the old fixed mindset where it's like, oh damn, I'm not good, no, I can't do it, I didn't get it the first try, and it's all a learning process and not a battle. It's all just learning. There is no I'm fighting with myself about this stuff. You really just have to flow with these thoughts, catch whenever you're on some dumb shit, and say, get the fuck out of here, bro. This is me. This is a new me. This is how I'm gonna treat myself now, and that's how it's gonna be. And people can be, and you can talk to yourself. You can talk yourself out and be like, that's not me though. That's not me. I can't be that. That's not myself though. It wouldn't be genuinely me. You can learn things, and then that'll eventually become you. You don't just read something and then you're like, oh, that has to be me for sure. I can't change from that just because what a fucking article said it about you. Like, damn, it must have been true. I guess I'd stick with that. You don't have to stick with whatever is said about you to be true. You can change. Not in like the focus of I need to show these people, like I need to prove these people wrong, which, it does fire up the passion. But a more better and like long-term play is that I'm gonna prove myself wrong, and I'm gonna prove to myself that I can be better, and I will be better. And I'll just do it because I find more growth and health in there. Does this make sense? I hope so. If it doesn't, I got a lot to cut and edit. But I appreciate y'all for your time. Thank y'all for watching, lurking, listening, whatever it is that you do during these videos. I appreciate y'all and love y'all, GRF gang. Hope y'all have a wonderful rest of your day, your week, your life, your month, whatever it is. And I will see y'all in the next video. Take care. have a growth mindset, and keep being you because there's no one else like you. Bye bye.